What is up, Republic of Gamers? Hello and welcome to ROG Pulse, the weekly show where we dive into all things tech and gaming. And I call it the weekly show, but Whitson, it's been a minute since we've been on the mic here. Welcome back.
What are you talking about? We played Overwatch yesterday.
Yeah, but that wasn't Pulse.
I know, it's true. By the way, I can't see the feed.
Oh, yeah, that would happen.
I can't see your face. I'm just looking at my own ugly face. What's going on, man?
I am well. How have you been?
Doing good.
Yeah.
You know, just plugging away. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm excited.
We do have a lot of, cool things on the horizon. We have a announcement event next week. If you guys did not know, next Tuesday, so mark your calendars bright and early. It's around 9 a.m. my time, 6 a.m. West Coast, I think. Tuesday next week.
I'll be up
for the live stream
super early because we'll be streaming right after the event. So you guys can head over to our YouTube channel to watch the event at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, and then come right on over here for an episode of Pulse, where we will be talking about
all the announcements,
some stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever stuff happens to happen.
Yeah.
Beyond
that, I did go to PAX East, so shout outs to anybody that attended there live and came by the booth, and it was really great to kind of get people's reactions to some of the new devices, like the Zephyrus Duo that we're talking about today, but also the Z13. People are really pumped about that. For a lot of people, it was their first time getting their hands on like the PG259 QNR, which is a 360 hertz display.
Display is baller.
It's insane. It really is luxurious, but it was actually really nice to be able to sit there and use like a 144 hertz next to a 360 and grab the mouse and touch it. See if you can tell the difference between like 165 and 360.
Because most people can't do that in their own house.
No.
Like you order a monitor and you think like, I think maybe I can tell the difference, but you don't see like what a drastic difference it actually is. It's more than you would think.
Yeah. I immediately see the comments in chat asking for release dates. The last update I got from the manager of this product said May. They said May it's coming, so it should be.
It may come in May.
It may come in May. So it should be anytime soon. Of course, this will vary based on region. So I'm specifically talking about North America.
I believe it is out in some other regions, isn't it?
I'm not actually sure. It's hard to keep track of every product in every region, but
I know it is. North America, soon.
Soon, yeah.
Soon, yeah. Soon.jpg. Just imagine that cat. Soon.
I just realized our little carousel's gone. What happened to it?
Oh no! I didn't even notice because my face is in the way in the Skype window.
It's been a chaotic few weeks here for us because young Jake survived COVID. It wasn't very fun, but that's why we had a bit of a break.
Surviving was fun. The fact that you survived,
dealing with it was the
enjoyable.
Yeah, being alive is good though. But yeah, no, it's not actually a full unboxing. We've already got the product out, open, and ready to show off. So
Jake's been playing with it. Jake couldn't resist.
This is one of the products that I'm most excited about, and I actually spent. I was at the booth the whole weekend for like 5 days. I was in Boston, and that I played on the Zephyrus Duo like a ton. Like I just kept playing with it because it's like I'm there. It's there for me to use. I have all these other devices to use, but I was like, man, the Duo is there's something so nice about the panel. But we'll talk about the displays.
I want to see it so bad.
Yeah, we'll talk about it soon. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you soon. We'll use it on stream, and then I'll ship it over your way so you can get your hands on with it soon. We are not giving a Zephyrus Duo away. We're giving away $20
Not
games.
Today, at least.
Well, we might. Yeah, we might someday. It's possible. But we will be giving away $20 vouchers to gamesplanet.com on Twitch. So if you're watching on Twitch, you have a chance to win. You just need to make sure you're in Twitch chat in order.
If you're watching on YouTube, eligible. Come over to Twitch.
That's the secret.
First, before we get into the really exciting stuff, there was some other really exciting stuff that happened today. We launched some new graphics cards.
Oh my. I know I have a website to look at here.
Yeah. Pull it up because I want to show some of these off. They look baller. So AMD launched some updated versions of their 6000 series. So we got 3 cards here. We got the we have 6 cards, but 3 GPUs. The RX 6950 XT, which is updated the 6900 XT, the 6750 XT, and the 6650 XT. So if you were kind of waiting around deciding what GPU to buy, these are going to be the ones you want. They each give a little bit of a bump in performance over their predecessors. And we have 2 versions of each GPU that we are offering. The top end model being the ROG Strix liquid cooled Radeon RX 6950 XT. Jake, you have an LC card from Strix.
I game in 4K and it's around 45 Celsius. It's amazing.
Yeah. If you scroll down a bit, you can get a picture of it. This thing is baller. It comes with 2 120 mil fans, RGB. It's got some RGB on that sweet shroud, and it's got a little fan on the card as well to cool the VRMs and stuff like that. What's really nice about this is not only is it the best performance you can possibly get from a Radeon card today, but it does it with a fairly low profile footprint.
Yeah.
Because it's liquid cooled, you don't have a giant heat sink on it like you do on a lot of the other cards. So if you're building in a smaller case where you have room for a radiator, but not maybe room for a big GPU heat sink, or you just like that sweet silence, it's awesome.
It comes significantly like stealthier, cleaner looking in the build. Yeah,
it is. I'm a fan of the air cooled cards myself, but a liquid cooled card does definitely
I love the
have its
AIO.
advantages.
Yeah. Just having that built-in liquid cooling. I don't think I'd want to install my own liquid cooling onto a GPU personally, but having it like the AIO.
I've done that. The AIO is. There are pros and cons to each, but their AIO is nice because it's no maintenance.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. It's just going to
so
work.
Easy. It comes fully built. You just pop it. I mean, it's just as easy to pop in your machine as an air cooled one.
Exactly.
Except you got like 4 extra screws to screw in the radiator. It's not like doing a custom loop. And when you're doing custom water cooling on a GPU, you have to decide if you want to do a universal block that just goes on the GPU, or do a full cover block that might only be compatible with that specific model, and all that kind of stuff. So this is really the best of all worlds, and it has its own radiator, which is pretty cool. But if you are not a liquid cooling type of person, we also are offering a tough variant of the 6950 XT, and that is going to have a big honking heatsink with 3 fans, a little bit of RGB, 0 dB tech, so the fans turn off completely when you're under low loads.
Yep.
You get that dual BIOS switch, so you can flip between maximum performance or some more quiet operation, things like that. It's got all those features you've come to expect, plus the durability of our tough cards with that sweet top end performance.
The aesthetic is, a lot of people are really falling in love with the tough aesthetic. I think it's really found its identity more and more recently. It's less about that in your face RGB that the Strix is, which I love, but not everyone loves it.
I love the Strix look, but yeah, the tough is a bit cleaner. If that's I have a Strix card in my machine, and it's just so sweet.
Yeah.
They both are good looking cards though. So moving down the stack, we have the 6750 XT. And this we are offering in a Strix model, which is like, again, balls to the wall, lots of RGB, big heatsink, ultra quiet cooling for a card of this caliber. You've got Fan Connect 2 headers on there, so you can connect some case fans and have them adjust their speed based on the GPU temperature rather than the CPU temperature on your motherboard. All that good stuff. If you want something a little bit more affordable, a little bit, more just kind of basic and, just the essential features, we got a Asus Duo offering as well. I recently, actually, I've had a few Asus Dual cards in my day. They're good. I will probably go Strix for the rest of my life. But it's also, and I don't actually know the size. I think
they're pretty small.
The dual cards tend to be a little bit smaller. This one's probably still, a little bit. It depends on the GPU, right?
Yeah.
How big it is. But the dual cards are nice if you're building in like a mini ITX rig, which is what I've used the dual cards in, because Strix cards will often not fit. So that's a nice advantage of the dual cards as well.
Look at this unicorn, a 2-fan Strix GPU.
I know, right? So this is not the first one we've done, but it's very rare, I think, that you see a Strix card with that isn't the big triple fan design. So since the 6650 XT is, more of a mid-range, power efficient card, we don't need the giant heatsink with the 3 fans for good performance and good noise levels. This is nice because you get all the, features of a Strix card. You don't get quite as much RGB, but it does have a nice RGB logo on the side of the shroud, like what that you would actually see. And it's in a much more manageable size. So, again, kind of best of both worlds. It is a 2.9 slot heatsink, so it's still thick. Thick boy. But it's got that sweet Strix style and 2 fans. And then there's a dual version of the 6650 XT as well.
So there was a quick question in the chat. What is the difference between the Strix and the Tough lines? I think just generally speaking, Tough is actually separate from ROG. So Strix is part of ROG. Tough is a separate line. Two different markets in a way. So
they are similar though. I'm actually going to drop a link in chat.
Okay.
That will tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. But like to sum it up pretty simply, I guess ROG and Strix specifically this is the maximum. This is nothing held back. This is the highest possible option we can offer. Tough tends to be a little bit less bells and whistles, a little bit, aiming for the stability and like the high quality, but at a little bit of a better price.
Without all of the extras.
You're not getting
you
as
get
much.
A little bit of a better price.
So
you don't get like the Fan Connect 2 headers, like that let you control the case fans based on your GPU. Like I don't think those are available on most Tough cards. Strix cards usually clocked a little bit higher. They sometimes have maybe a little bit a bigger heat sink, so it's a little bit quieter operation. Stuff like that. They have more RGB, which that's really what I'm here for. I'm here for the RGB.
Yeah.
So the Strix are maximum performance. Tough is, I don't want to say maximum value, because in a way the dual cards are like the really, really value oriented. The Tough is like, it's just the absolute best bang for your buck that you'll get though.
Generally speaking, yeah. But, it is situation to situation. GPUs
I put a link in chat that you can click on to learn more about all of our different lines of graphics cards. And we did an episode about it a couple weeks ago. You can go back and take a look at that as well, where we go into more detail.
But GPUs have been in stock pretty consistently, at least here in the US. So
yeah, I just got myself a 3060 Ti KO edition.
Yeah,
it is awesome.
You got that about a month ago now. You're liking it?
I am. I'm loving it. Yeah. So it was just the right size for my case, and by just the right size, my mini ITX rig, I mean that I had to take the entire case apart and rebuild it around the GPU in order for it to fit, because this case is just too small. But it's like perfect in there now, and it has this really, really cool design with like really cool RGB, kind of a two-tone like gold and silver thing. The page has a picture of it in the link that I just posted. It's a good card. Those, I don't know if those are in stock right now. Those are not quite as common as the Tough and Strix variants, but yeah, I somehow got 2 new graphics cards for actually halfway decent prices during this whole shortage, and with no ties to my working for Asus. I bought them both with my own money at a retailer, like totally by myself.
Nice.
So it is possible, guys.
It's possible.
It's very possible now.
Well, speaking about AMD GPUs, I know we have AMD revealing FSR 2.0 upscaling support for some new games coming soon.
We've been kind of talking about this on the show and on stream a lot lately. This is like one of the big things that to me is the most compelling thing about AMD cards right now. If you're deciding whether to get like, do I want a 3060 or a 6650 or whatever, a lot of it is going to come down to these features, especially if performance and price are similar. FSR 2.0 is really cool. So unlike DLSS, which requires the developers to implement DLSS into their games, it only works with certain games. FSR 2.0, the one that is coming out soon, well, there are kind of 2 components to it. You can implement it into certain games, and it's going to be a more temporal solution, kind of similar to DLSS, so it's going to be better than FSR 1.0. It's coming to Deathloop first, tomorrow, I believe. Flight Simulator, EVE Online, Forspoken, and Farming Simulator 22 coming later.
Yes, Farm Sim.
The other thing that is exciting about this to me is that this means we are one step closer to getting FSR 2.0 at the driver level.
Nice.
So if a game doesn't implement FSR 2.0 or DLSS, you can click it on in the driver and get that temporal upscaling in any game, which is awesome. That is really, really huge. If the game has it, you want to do it within the game, because then it won't it will upscale the UI better, because it'll render the UI at a higher resolution and upscale the game if you're doing it from within the game rather than within the driver. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it'll be upscaling the UI as well, and you may get a little bit of artifacting. But yeah, that's really exciting. I just can't wait for FSR 2.0 to like be fully out in all its glory. So this is the first step toward that. Also, Deathloop is amazing. If you haven't played it, now's the time, guys.
I'm glad you liked it.
I loved it. You thought it was just okay. I loved it.
I liked
it. Was arcane at its finest.
It's not a bad game. I'll give you that. It wasn't my favorite. But
actually, I don't know if I liked it better than Dishonored 2, but it was close. It was really good. And I like how it felt. It felt a lot like the Dishonored games, but it had its own twists.
A lot of people call it Game of the Year, right? I mean, people loved it.
Was that this year or last year? That was last year. Right?
It might have been 2015. I don't know what time. Yeah, it's. I did a presentation today too. We were talking to a bunch of different high school students for like this high school esports league program, and just kind of chatting. And I had to say, like, I got into esports 16 years ago, and when
16?
I know, and that's when I was like, is that right? Is that the real amount of time that has passed since I graduated high school? And it is. So
how old are we, Jake?
Hey, we're very old. But shifting news over to Team Blue, who gave me this glorious, gigantic desk mat. Oh, I love it.
That is awesome. I like that you're actually using it. I like that it's found a home on your desk.
Oh, it'll live there forever. Intel, their GPUs, the Arc series GPUs, have been delayed, but the first ones will be dropping in China this year. So we'll be getting some more information eventually. I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of buzz and a lot of interest in the Intel entering the GPU game, but you know, we'll learn more soon. Just don't expect them in the rest of the world this year, by the sound of it.
We'll get them this year, late summer. It says.
Oh, wow, okay.
So they're just coming to China first. There have been some delays, but we still have good stuff to look forward to. It's just not quite
I thought it was delayed
yet.
more than that for some reason. Well, that is good news.
That's what I'm reading.
And yeah.
Final piece of tech news is that GeForce Now, if you're a fan of streaming games to your cheap laptop or whatever, GeForce Now finally is able to stream at 4K 60 on PC. Previously, it could only do it on the NVIDIA Shield. But now you can stream at 4K 60 on PC or 1440p 120 if you want to do high refresh rate. But that's a nice little bump for the people who are subscribed to the 3080 tier of GeForce Now.
Okay. Well, shifting.
And if you have a 4K display.
Yeah. I do have a Shield. I should try it on my Shield.
I actually don't. You and Lane both have Shields. I don't have one. But that's because instead of streaming games to my TV with a Shield, I just built a whole nother computer for over there, for like 10 feet away on the other side of the room as my existing PC. So call it overkill. But Baboon Air, we will play marbles soon. But first, Jake, you got to tell me about Warcraft.
Yeah, so this is not necessarily super new news as it was last week, but we didn't have a show. But Blizzard has been hiring. I'm really like tied into Blizzard stuff. They've been hiring for what they called an MMO RTS mobile game for a long time. And what does that mean? I mean, that's like multiple genres
a lot of acronyms.
being mashed up into one. Yeah, a lot of acronyms. But ultimately, it's a Clash of Clans / Clash Royale style Warcraft game. It's actually not super clear how it's going to play out until I get my hands on it. I'm very intrigued. It looks interesting. I will say that I'm a little sad that Blizzard decided to kind of like cave into like the norms of like the styling of mobile games, but it's such a different market that I totally understand it and respect.
Totally different market.
Yeah, it is really just a totally different thing, but it feels a little weird to see these like cute, cutesy Warcraft characters. But
well, keep in mind it's also about trying to get it to run on as many phones as possible. Right.
That's true.
So it's even though World of Warcraft, for example, has been out for like 1 billion years, when you're trying to run something on a phone that usually has a small screen size, so you kind of do that kind of style works well on a small screen size, especially on devices that maybe don't have the graphical power to do something even as advanced as like World of Warcraft. Not everyone has an ROG phone like us, Jake.
That's true. But
some people are playing this game on a $30 you know, I don't want to name names, but you know.
Yeah, but I will say one thing that I got to commend them on is they basically decided to go with this like branding of you have hero units, which is correct and like canon for Warcraft to call them hero units. But then there's the units that are like your minions. They're calling them minis, and they look like tabletop miniatures, right?
I kind of dig that.
Yeah, I really do, and I think
as a former Warhammer player.
But just the whole fact that they're brand, building this whole game with this different art style by calling it minis, it just kind of feels a little bit better to me. I don't know. I'm excited for it. It's basically like currently.
Is it supposed to be an in-universe tabletop game like Gwent? Like this is the tabletop game that
I don't think
the
so.
Warcraft people play in their spare time?
I don't think so, but maybe. But yeah, the whole launch of it felt very different than what we typically see from Blizzard. It was just kind of like, hey, here's our game. But it's coming soon. We'll see. We'll definitely stream it here. I'm
Jake's always going to stream a Blizzard game.
I'm a Blizzard fanboy till I die.
But will you stream an actual Blizzard when winter comes?
I've done it.
You got to play this game during a Blizzard.
See, this was a long time ago before Twitch had like rules about like what you. Nowadays you can stream hot tubs, whatever you can stream whatever the hell you want on Twitch. But back in the day, you weren't allowed to stream like stupid stuff like me snowblowing my driveway, which I live streamed during a blizzard. And I did. I live streamed me shoveling my driveway. I didn't even have a snowblower yet. I was shoveling my driveway. It was terrible. I finally finished. And then a snowplow comes by and blows all the snow back in my yard. It was like you couldn't have asked for better comedic timing, but it sucked.
That's amazing.
So I have streamed an actual Blizzard. Thank you.
All right. Of course you have.
What else is going on in gaming?
Well, you still need to highlight the tech gaming news. That's what's still going on.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so I threw this next one into the doc just because we've been playing so much Elden Ring on this channel. I've been playing so much Elden Ring in my personal time. Have we talked about Let Me Solo Her before, you and me?
I think we mentioned it on the stream the other day.
Like,
just briefly.
Okay, this is why I love games like Elden Ring, right? Like the fact that it's such like this cultural phenomenon and it has this kind of multiplayer angle, and especially in like the Twitch generation. For those of you that don't know, there is a player, a human player, whose online handle is Let Me Solo Her.
And he's naked.
And he's no armor, no clothes, just a pot on his head, just like a bucket on his head. And he will, if you call for help during the hardest boss of the game, this guy will come help you. And like the name Let Me Solo Her suggests, he wants you to let him beat the boss all by himself. He will fight and defeat the boss for you in all his naked glory.
So magical.
And I've actually heard if you try to help, he'll just yeet. He'll just quit the game because he has to solo her. Well, this guy's like swept the internet, and this week, Let Me Solo Her had his 1,000th victory against Melania. And in celebration of this milestone, it was his final battle of this round. He started his new game plus and started the game from the beginning again.
Wow. That's incredible.
It's just, I know, and it was streamed on Twitch. The people were donating a ton of money and stuff. It was like a whole event. I just thought it was like fun to throw in because we've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and this is like, of all of the kind of gaming cultural phenomenons that have come out of Elden Ring, like this is it. This is the most famous Elden Ring player at this point. I think this is the Skyrim grandma, right?
He's like, they're gonna make him canon at this point. Like I think he's probably written into the lore of the game at this point.
Yeah, seriously. I also just threw this in there just because I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know if we've talked about this, but EA is no longer going to have the FIFA name on their soccer games or football for the rest of the world there. We've known this for a while. It's been kind of like this ongoing thing, but they announced today that officially for 2024, the name of the franchise will be EA Sports FC. So that, if you are a fan of the FIFA games,
it does not roll off the EA Sports football club. Like, what is FC?
I assume that it's something like that. I don't know because I'm American, and I look at that and I say, why doesn't it say soccer? But yeah, so I don't know if someone else is going to get the FIFA license. But if you're a fan of FIFA, you'll have to choose between the new FIFA or the new successor to the old FIFA, which is EA Sports FC. I believe there's still going to be a FIFA 2023, but 2024 will be when this actually starts.
Interesting. That is.
I know. And I threw it in there because I don't think I've ever played, or not since like the Genesis days, right? But it's like one of the biggest games in terms of worldwide
FIFA
player
is
base.
massive. Absolutely.
And my
massive.
brothers-in-law actually really like FIFA as well. So
yeah, I'm with you though. It's a series that I just never really put in the amount of time. It's a microtransaction behemoth. I know that.
Yeah, I also don't play. I don't play sports games because I don't really like sports.
Yeah, I mean, I like esports. I only have so much time in my life. I commit my time to esports. It's weird because like people always are like confused that I don't like people that know me. They're like, you don't watch football because I played football like my whole life, and they just.
Oh really?
Yeah, I like grew up like played it so much.
But you're
football.
you're just all footballed out. You're done.
Yeah, I find it boring to watch personally. I'd rather watch someone play Smash Brothers. I find it more compelling. But that's just me. Everyone likes their own thing.
That's fair.
So we are going to do our Marbles on Stream giveaway in just a second. This is going to be done through Twitch chat. You're going to need to type !play in Twitch chat once the session starts to get entered on the screen for a chance to win a $20 voucher to us.gamesplanet.com, where you can, get all kinds of great deals on video games, but then excuse me, got a bit of a cough still, and put that money towards whatever. What
happened to your cough button, Jake?
I just used it. Did it not work?
I heard you cough.
Oh, it didn't work.
At least a little.
I guess I released it too soon. But !play to join the giveaway. And then we're going to go in and do our deep dive on the Zephyrus Duo, which you saw for a second
the moment you've all been waiting for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a beast of a machine. We're going to be streaming with it.
It really is.
It's got it all.
Are you going to stream some Dying Light 2 with it? I don't know if anyone's still like into Dying Light 2, but didn't Dying Light 2 have some Zephyrus?
Although
actually, I don't know if the Zephyrus Duo integration is out yet.
I don't know if it ever came out.
Okay.
It's Elden Ring threw everything for a loop because that game consumed my life for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm so close to the end.
Finished.
So I feel like I need to just finish Elden Ring.
You do need to finish it. I'm getting like. I'm getting the itch to like play some other games. As much as I'm loving Elden Ring, I'm kind of ready to like just speed run the rest of it. I'm about to.
That's probably what I'm going to do.
I did Mount Gelmir today.
So I'm really sad because I had this whole plan. I was going to finish Elden Ring, and then I was going to be ready for the first week of May, for May the 4th, to finally play Jedi Fallen Order. Like as a follow-up to Elden Ring, because I've never played that game, and I was like, okay, well, I'm already in this like controller type of game like mood where I'm enjoying Elden Ring. Might as well play Jedi Fallen Order while the controller still feels natural in my hands.
It's like similarly paced too, because it's kind of
and I don't
a little bit Souls-esque.
I'm not really a controller gamer, but I feel like I've gotten better at using a controller because of Elden Ring. So it's like, okay, let's play it. And in I got COVID, and here we are. A little bit weeks later. So I'm thinking about Jedi Fallen Order. It's not exactly new though, so I don't know.
It's not, but I'll tell you. So I started playing it, and then I kind of got distracted by something else. And then like Elden Ring was coming out, and it was like, all right, I don't have time to play Fallen Order right now. And I, once I stop a game in the middle, it's hard for me to pick it back up. But I was still really curious about the story, so I actually watched one of those YouTube videos that's like all cutscenes.
Yeah.
The story is good.
That's what I'm hoping for. Like,
I wasn't sure, like, because people said it was good, but sometimes when people say something is really good, it's just mediocre. But no, the story is actually very good. It is I don't want to say it's slow, but like it takes a little bit before it really picks up and like hooks you. And so it's worth it. Stick with it, because if you like Star Wars, it pays off for sure.
Okay. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. So.
I wish that I had played through it now, but there is a sequel coming out. So,
yeah, well, maybe we'll check that out. Maybe I'll jump back into Tiny Tina Wonderlands. There's so many games, man. Too many good games. All right, our marbles are off.
Still got some people asking about where the Zephyrus Duo 16 is. It is not in stock yet in the US. It should be very soon. I don't have an exact date for you yet, but. Different regions are different. You will have to check your own region and check with your local ASUS office for release dates in your region. Unfortunately, I don't have a list of all the release dates for every single country right next to me. That'd be nice, though.
Would be nice. Ritz, Dread.
There is like on the
Mahalo?
US page, there is a where to buy link. So I know like B&H Photo is going to have it. They have, I think, a pre-order page. It's either pre-order. Yeah, so it's not pre-order, but you can have them notify you when it's available by email. So like go to B&H Photo, select the SKU you want, and
Wow.
you can do that.
I didn't realize that was the end. That was a photo finish. Mahalis barely winning by, milliseconds in the end there.
Wait, are they just float? Is the end zone just floating in space?
They slapped into the wall at the end. I mean, these are
Oh, I see.
rip. People are dying now. Oh, they're just falling. They lost gravity. You hate to see it. Catastrophic. Mahalis by 0.9
That is a
milliseconds.
close game.
0.09 milliseconds. Yeah, very close. But
And
Mahalis,
he is already in chat.
well, he's typing in chat right now. So congrats.
Yeah,
I don't even
so
know
you're
if
good.
you noticed
Yep.
he won, but congratulations.
Jake will message you tomorrow with your winnings.
Next week, actually, we do it.
Next week.
I do it the week following now.
Jake will message you next week with your winnings.
soon TM.
Soon TM.
All right, let me just log the win on the board, and we will jump on into the Zephyrus Duo.
I cannot wait.
It's really, really nice here, and there's actually a chance that I just bring the Duo outside and stream in my backyard on Friday. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's going to be like 80
That'd be
degrees
lovely.
here, so I'm just like, you know what?
It's going to be 80 degrees here too, but I'm going to be in the desert.
Yeah.
It's 100 degrees.
One of my favorite things about the Duo is having that secondary display makes it a very good travel streaming tool, because one of the bigger challenges with streaming is being able to actually read Twitch chat. And, in the past, I'd always have to prop my phone up, and it's just...
and make sure that your stream's actually live and see if you're dropping frames and audio levels and all that stuff.
So, propping your phone up like this next to your laptop in a hotel room isn't the worst thing in the world, but sometimes...
But it's not the best thing in the world.
Yeah, it really isn't great. So, with the Zephyrus Duo, you've got this secondary display that's going to be able to carry all of that weight for you.
Among many other things. Okay, I don't even know where to start with this laptop because there was just so much awesome stuff going on.
I say we start with the body. We just start with the actual form factor.
Will you close it for me? Will you do me a favor and close it? Because I want people to see what we'll do a side view in a minute. Wow, fingerprints, Jake.
Yeah, I know.
Way to clean out the fingerprints before we started stream.
I know.
Anyway, you take a look at the Zephyrus Duo and it looks like a normal laptop. But when you open it up, whoopah, surprise! There's a second screen. Yeah. So like Jake was saying, this is awesome for productivity, for streaming, for game. There are some games that actually put controls on that second screen, which is really, really cool. And yeah, so when you open it up, it's not just flat on the bottom case. Can you do that one more time, Jake? This year's hinge has been updated from last year's. Where last year's the display just raised up and stayed in place. This year we have this like hinge that has 4 different like directions that it moves. So it lifts up and then it slides back to basically create this almost bezel-less experience. The second display like almost fades into the top display, and it's just amazing. And Sasha was supposed to be here today, but he got sick. He could not join us.
Everyone's sick.
I really wanted him to show the hinge mechanism, because the new hinge they designed for this took a lot of work. Our R&D
ton of
team
R&D, yeah.
So much work on this awesome new hinge that makes last year's Zephyrus Duo look like
this clunky,
a normal laptop.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I can't believe how cool it is that it slides right up to meet that main display. And yes, it is a touch display.
So fluid. And we got to talk about the benefit. So you get a lot of cooling benefit, because you can exhaust through these 2 fans that are underneath this display here that are going to pull heat out and just pull it right out of your machine. It really helps with the airflow and the performance of the whole machine. And
that's what
the one other thing is you can just kind of see beneath the display. It's like
That's cool.
This is something we've been doing more and more in different ways and different styles. But it's transparent glass with a little bit of RGB that shows you the motherboard. So you're looking.
I'm not sure I knew that was there.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It's a nice little subtle thing. It almost looks like it should be a screen of its own, but it's actually just glass looking in at the motherboard.
So I want to come back to cooling in a little bit because there's actually a lot that went into the cooling of this machine. But before we do that, I think we need to talk about what's actually inside this beast of a machine. Okay. So on this year's Zephyrus Duo, you can get it with up to an AMD Ryzen 9 6980HX processor. So that's 8 cores, 16 threads, 5.0 gigahertz max boost. And I believe typically that's a 45-watt chip. So ball-in processor, and then top that off with up to an RTX 3080 Ti GPU, which we have clocked up to 150 watts with dynamic boost. And actually, if you put Armory Crate in manual mode, you can clock that up to 165 watts.
Full beast mode.
Yeah. So you can get it all the way down to an RTX 3060, but come on, 3080 Ti, do it. I believe you can also get it with a Ryzen 7 6800H if you want to knock down the CPU too. All that said, this varies from region to region. Certain regions may not carry certain SKUs, so you'll have to check with your own local retailers. Up to 64 gigabytes of 4800 megahertz DDR5 RAM and up to 4 terabytes of storage out the box. So it's a beast of a machine. Okay.
I mean, this is the highest end you can ask for in terms of hardware and execution for performance, but it goes beyond that for the display.
It does, but hold on. Before we talk about the display, which is actually the thing that I'm most excited about, I wanted to list all of those specs because I want to explain why this machine is so impressive in terms of its cooling. Because this is not a Strix machine where we've just like crammed a huge heat sink, right, and like a ton of cooling into it. This is a Zephyrus machine. It is a thin and light laptop for its size. It's 16-inch screen, but it's kind of the size of a 15-inch laptop, and it's thin. It's really thin. So not only do you have a second display, but you have all of this insane hardware in a thin and light laptop. And a lot of times when you do that, you have to make big compromises because the smaller you make the chassis, the more you're trapping in that heat from those super high-end parts. With the Zephyrus Duo, not only do we have all of our usual ROG intelligent cooling features like liquid metal on the CPU, we've got our new arc flow fans, which have the variable thickness blades and all this stuff to reduce turbulence. But you have that secondary screen that lifts up with a ton more room for fresh air to come in and cool off that high-end CPU and that high-end GPU. That is why this in particular is such an impressive laptop, because we're getting a lot more performance out of those chips than you would in a typical thin and light machine that was just packing in the highest end hardware but lowering the wattage to a manageable level. It doesn't need more advertising. It's simply perfect. They just need to have it in stock.
That's
fair.
We're working on it. It's coming soon.
This thing sells itself.
It's an amazing machine.
Okay. None of that is even the part that I'm most excited about.
Tell me what you're excited about, Whitson.
That is all the introduction. That's just like, I got to get all that stuff out of the way before I talk about the thing that I actually am excited about.
Before we go, I just want to show. Oh, there's a numpad too.
That is cool. Yeah. That's something, we don't have that on a lot of the ROG machines, but it's popular on the ZenBooks, but it is really, really cool for people who like numpads, but there's not a lot of room for a number pad on there. I also like that the trackpad's on the right. I always kind of
I do too. Yeah. And there's like some other neat little things here. Like this is just to change the screen on the bottom so you can disable it. It's just like a one button press.
Yeah. Yes, it is HDMI 2.1 in the back there.
Yep.
It's HDMI 2.1. You got Ethernet. You got 2 USB Type-C ports, 2 USB Type-A ports. Those are all 3.2 Gen 2. Excuse me. We got a micro SD card reader. You got headphone jack, and you have a AC jack for the power adapter, but you can also charge it via Type-C.
Are both screens touchscreen. You can charge it via USB Type C as well. Yes.
So,
but the bottom screen only.
Yes,
We call it the ScreenPad Plus. It is effectively just a second monitor, but it is full touch. The top display is not. But Whitson, I know you want to talk about the displays in general.
While you're mentioning it, the ScreenPad Plus, you can get it in 4K or 1080p.
Okay.
That's worth mentioning. So you have two different options for that, again, depending on your region. Let's talk about the main display, because as mind-blowing as that hinge and that second display are, I'm even more excited about the main display. In fact, we have two different options, different groundbreaking options for the main display this year. The first option for that main Zephyrus Duo display is called Nebula HDR. It is our balls to the wall mini LED, 512 local dimming zones, 1100 nits of peak brightness HDR display. This is not your grandma's cheap low-end HDR display. This has more dimming zones than my TV has. Okay. Like, this thing is gonna be incredible. Again, our team worked really, really hard on this. It's mini LED, so you've got 512 different dimming zones, and it uses AUO's AMOLED backlight technology. It's got a really high polling rate of 5400 hertz, and our team did a lot of work kind of training the algorithm with a bunch of different images to minimize the haloing that you sometimes get with full array local dimming displays. So if you have a modern high-end TV, you probably know what I'm talking about, where if you're in a dark scene and you have like a bright light or a bright subtitles, stuff like that, you'll get this kind of like glow around them. Having a mini LED display helps minimize that because you have way more zones. Like, my TV only has like 70 zones or something like that. This thing has 512. Okay. And it's 15 inches.
It's such a game changer. And, as someone who's been gaming on a mini LED for a few months now for my primary display and my home setup, HDR is like mind blowing. Like,
because you can get those really deep blacks and those really bright highlights at the same time.
Oh my
That's
God.
not something that you can get on a lot of displays. And I also want to mention, like, if you get like even some cheap mini LED TVs you can get these days are still going to have that blooming because their algorithm isn't very good. And so that's why our team thought it's so important to spend all this time on the algorithm to try and minimize that haloing as much as possible. It's got 100% coverage of the DCI-P3 color space, so really bright, vivid colors in HDR. It's got adaptive sync. It's got Dolby Vision, all that stuff. You know about all that stuff. I could talk about HDR all day. I also want to mention that HDR is not just about eye-searing brightness. When I say 1100 nits of brightness, that doesn't mean that everything on it is going to be so bright that like your eyes hurt, right? High brightness is about more detail in HDR. It's about having a little pop in certain areas of the screen. It doesn't mean, there are certain scenes where the whole screen might be really bright, but those are rare. It's really more about having the glint of the sun off of your car in Forza Horizon, right? Or like a bright, like a lamp in a really dark room kind of popping off the screen, or these really bright, vivid colors that you can't get without that high brightness. That's the kind of stuff that really makes HDR what it is and just makes it super, super lifelike. It's not, I see this misconception all the time that I don't need 1100 nits of peak brightness. I can see my laptop fine at 400 or 500 nits. Yeah, you can, but those little highlights aren't going to pop as much,
right?
Especially without that local dimming. So that is like the big, big, big difference here.
It's a whole nother level of immersion at that point.
Yep. So that's one of two displays
that
we're offering on the Zephyrus Duo. The other display. Do you want to talk about the other display?
No, go ahead. You got this.
Okay.
You're the display nerd.
I am the display nerd. But I feel like this next one's a little bit more esportsy. I thought maybe it was your style. So the other display we're offering is something brand new that we've developed called a dual spec display. Now, Jake, answer me a question. Yeah. Have you ever wished that you could have 4K but also have 240 hertz, but you can't decide whether you want to go high resolution or high refresh rate for the monitor that's going to stick with you for the next 5 years?
Dude, of course I've wished that, but I never even considered it a possibility, and then our team just came out and made it?
So it's not, so it's dual spec. The dual spec name comes from the fact that you can run it in 4K 120 hertz mode for that high resolution for those single player beautiful games that aren't gonna run at higher than 120 hertz. Or if you're playing some esports and you want maximum refresh rate, you can flip the display through Armory Crate into a mode that runs it at 1080p,
It's so
240
cool.
hertz.
It's so cool.
So you can't do 4K and 240 at the same time, but flip the switch, reboot, you'll be in an esports mode or high res mode. That is so freaking cool. And what else is cool?
Doesn't make sense to me. It's like, it's that impressive. I really do think it's that cool.
So the nerds out there will appreciate this. I really appreciated this when it goes into that 1080p 240 hertz mode. By the way, 240 hertz is amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's like, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal until I reviewed a 240 hertz monitor, and now I want one. It doesn't do any weird sort of upscaling techniques that are going to add artifacts or that are going to add latency in the upscaling. It just takes that 1080p signal and quadruples every pixel.
That's so smart.
For super fast latency, sharp 1080p image at 240 frickin' hertz. So it is amazing. I still think that the Nebula HDR display is the one that has my heart, but I love that both of these exist. Yeah. By the way, I didn't mention the Nebula HDR display. That's 165 hertz. Yeah. So still very
165. Good. That's the version that we had at PAX East on the floor that I was using, and it's an absolutely gorgeous display. Yeah, no, I mean, I know people are excited to get their hands on these. It will vary on region what is exactly available for your spec. We mentioned up to a 3080 Ti and down to a 3060, I believe you said.
Yeah, so you can get a 30. The four that we're offering are 3060, 3070 Ti, 3080, 3080 Ti, but depends on your region.
Yeah, and pricing will vary pretty drastically from the low end to the high end. There's going to be probably almost double the price if you go all the way up.
There are also technically options with a 1080p 165 hertz IPS panel.
Oh, really?
If you don't want one of the amazing panels that.
But again, maybe not all regions have that though. That's the thing.
No, not necessarily all
clarify.
Regions.
These are all the versions that have been created by our R&D, our engineering, and every region will basically choose what they want to sell. So, but yeah, we'll see soon.
Yep. So yeah, I'm really excited to see the Nebula HDR again in person. I really want to log some good gaming time on that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to fight the other writers for who gets to cover the Duo.
So?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just accidentally send it to you.
It's also hard because, there's some stuff coming that I can't talk about that I really want to cover, and that may take up my time, and thus I won't be able to cover this because I'll be covering some of the other stuff. So yeah, it's very exciting. I'm trying to see if there's anything I missed about this model. It's 5.5 pounds, which is not bad for what you're getting. Got Wi-Fi 6E, a 90 watt-hour battery. And again, that Type-C charging is really, we have that on all of our laptops this year, I believe. And that is just so crucial because while you wouldn't want to plug in over Type-C and game because you're not going to be able to hold, you're not going to get enough power to keep the battery at full. Mm-hmm. It's so nice when you're traveling because you can plug it into the same charger that you use for your phone if it's high wattage enough. You can, plug it into a portable battery bank and top it off. All that stuff is just priceless to me in the age of USB-C everything. Do you have any micro USB devices left in your house? I have 2 and I hate them just by virtue of not being able to charge them with my laptop charger.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I've still got a couple.
Not too many. USB-C is the future. Oh, actually, my Vive controllers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I'm like, what else do I have? My Vive controllers and maybe my old power bank.
I got an Oculus Quest or a Meta Quest. That's USB-C.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I still got a couple things lying around.
But this thing's a beast. So it's just. We talked about the cooling performance, benefits with the Screen Pad Plus allowing for that ventilation through the top of the screen, and
RGB on the keyboard. We didn't mention that, but you could see it obviously.
Yeah, I'll turn it back on.
It's going to be a real nice keyboard to type on. We don't mess around with our keyboards.
No,
even though this is technically a thin and light, you're going to have deeper travel on this keyboard than you are for a lot of other thin and lights. We don't mess around because it is still a gaming laptop, and you cannot. You can't game on a laptop that has like a millimeter or less of travel. I've been using Zephyrus since the Matrix Online was a thing. Wow. Oh, or Zephyrus. He's saying he's used his username since the Matrix Online.
I was gonna say I don't think the Zephyrus.
I
didn't
think that Zephyrus was around then, but yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, good for you. The Matrix Online. That's a throwback.
A little bit.
It does not have RGB on the sides like the ZenBook Pro 16X, I believe.
It does not.
The ZenBook Pro 16X is a gorgeous device.
Overall, it's got like this prismatic line and a lot of fingerprints because I'm a savage. I think I'm the fingerprint.
Yeah, Jake just ate a whole bucket of fried chicken and then just
like
banged on the laptop for a little bit.
What did I eat? I don't know. Terrible. But it's a beast coming soon. Coming soon to stores.
To a store near you.
A store near you. And B&H again. You can get notified. I was told they'll be out in May. They should be out very soon. It might not be the all models initially. It might just be like the high end model first or the low end model first. I'm not sure.
That does happen.
It does happen a lot.
It's been a tough year, guys.
It's been tough to stock anything. I mean, it is getting better, but it's still. Shipments are getting delayed, things are being held, things are made all over the world, so they don't necessarily get transported everywhere at the same time. So it is what it is. But.
So can you show me the ports again? Which are the ports on the back?
So on the back, we got the HDMI, Ethernet, and USB-A for the 3 ports perfect. There. On the left-hand side, you've got your power plug-in. There's a USB-A, a USB-C, and then a SD card slot, I believe.
Micro SD.
Yeah, micro SD. And then you have aux as well for headphones.
I love ports on the back.
And then on the right, you have one more USB-C.
It's so nice to have like those extra ports in the back where you can just set it up and not see the cables coming out. I'm very weird about clean cables. 305 Buddy Love says, Jake, will you be showcasing the ZenBook 16X? No. This is an ROG channel only. We do love our ZenBook friends.
I will say
we don't generally showcase those products.
We've had that conversation of me getting more involved in like an Asus, not ROG YouTube channel where I showed off ZenBooks. We've had that conversation.
Oh, really?
So if that's something that people like really want to see more content on, that's something that could happen. I do work for ROG, right? We work for ROG, Whitson and I technically. But that is something.
But it's all one company.
It is all one company.
They can shuffle us around however they want, right?
That is a conversation that we have had internally where we're like, we literally were like, we don't know if anyone wants that content. We didn't. It's not something that we were super sure about. So it's good to hear that.
I'd watch you drool over a ZenBook.
ZenBooks are awesome. I mean,
I love mine so much.
Yeah. My wife's had one for years. I've only ever owned gaming laptops personally. My wife's used it. Yeah, I mean, why use a computer if I'm not playing video games? There's no other reason for me to use a computer.
It's so hard for me because I've always wanted the smallest, thinnest, easiest to carry around laptop that I could ever have. And the ZenBook is basically that, right? Like ZenBook is so ultra portable, and that's what I love about them. But yeah, it's hard. And now, I mean, a couple of years ago, right, you had to make that choice between something like a ZenBook and something like a big behemoth laptop. Now we have like the Zephyrus G14, which sadly is back behind that couch, so I won't grab it. But now you can get a thin and light gaming laptop, and that's a total game changer. And I'm not in the market for a laptop right now, but if I were, I think I would go for the best of both worlds and get something like the G14. The ZenBook is great, though. My sister just got a ZenBook OLED, and she likes it a lot.
Whitson, should I game on the Duo or the M16 this week?
Oof. Well, yeah, actually, you have to game on the M16.
Okay.
Yeah, because then you can send it to me when we trade, and then when you because this is still the pre-production Duo unit. You got to wait for the real Duo unit to come in. Oh, that's right.
I'm not allowed to game on this one. This one's secret.
Not allowed to game on this one.
This one's special. But okay, so look forward to an M16 stream on Friday.
Missed opportunity to have an only Asus channel and dedicate each day to a different sub. Well, we do have multiple channels. We just don't have a Twitch channel for Asus. But like Asus has its own YouTube channels.
Of course they do. Yeah.
And they have people that show those kinds of things off. We just we're not currently involved in that. Even though I could talk about how much I love my ZenBook all day long. They technically don't pay me to do that.
I mean, full transparency, my knowledge on the non-ROG products is like, I don't.
Oh yeah, I mean, most of what I know about the ZenBook models, I know from a year ago when I was reviewing them for media sites, right? But yeah, we don't keep up with a lot of that stuff because we're not in those meetings. We have enough to keep up with all the ROG stuff.
We make too many cool things.
Because keep in mind also, it's not just ROG laptops. Like we also have to, keep up with all of the keyboards and mice and monitors and motherboards and GPUs. Motherboards, man, motherboards are tough to keep up because there's so much that goes into a motherboard.
They're also Strix.
What? Oh,
sorry, I made a bad joke. Exclamation mark play to join the giveaway. We're giving away another $20 voucher to GameSplendid.com as we are wrapping up here in a moment. But no, you're right. There's a lot. There's a lot, and it's never ending.
And I feel like I have trouble even keeping up with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's only the ecosystem is only getting more complex as we're looking at. Again, we were just talking about Intel entering the GPU game, right? It's just going to be more pieces to the puzzle, more variety.
If we have Intel GPUs.
Right.
I don't actually know yet. No one's told me anything.
Well, I mean, whether or not we make them, it's still part of the ecosystem, right? We just got to look at what is out there.
It's only getting bigger.
Yeah, and even if we don't make them, would they end up on laptops? Probably, right? So
that's true. They are. I think they came out with laptops first.
Exactly. So
I'm pretty excited.
Intel's
integrated GPUs have gotten so good that I'm like, all right.
They're doing some impressive stuff.
You got me curious.
I gotta give shout out to Intel. Their booth at PAX East was just incredible. They had this huge, gorgeous stage. We actually built a PC, which is right there, that we gave away last week. We built it on the Intel stage. They had a DDR section. They had an art gallery. They had just these pedestals with all of these custom builds built by various like PC modders, and some of them were built on site by like Mods by Ben. It was the most involved like hardware booth I've ever seen at any convention I've ever been to in my life, and I was just like, yo, Intel, you guys won this convention. They were the headline sponsor. They had the biggest booth, but they did it right.
Those are my favorite kinds of booths where you just go drool over all the custom PCs.
I should have been more prepared. I took a picture of this build that Ben. I'm sure Mod by Ben put it on.
I'm sure it's on Instagram.
I'm sure it's on his Twitter or his Insta, but it was like so full custom loop, like completely open with all these tubes like wrapping around. It just looked really cool. Okay,
Jake, 2 questions in chat while you're starting up the marbles. Anubis asked, did you guys beat Elden Ring? What did you think of the ending? No spoilers. Neither of us have beaten it yet.
Haven't beaten it yet. We've been sick, so we're gonna resume this week.
I wasn't sick.
I was sick.
I was taking care of 2 toddlers for a week though, so I had to take a break. Yeah. I'm hoping to beat it by the time I go on vacation in June.
Okay. I'm at the end of the game. Like I think I'm pretty much done. There's a few things that I'd like to do before I finish it, and I don't know how to do them because I haven't Googled anything. So I'm at this like weird point where it's like, do I?
It's time to just go for it.
Do I break? No. I like there's different endings to the game, and I'm trying to achieve something to achieve the ending that I think I want to do. And
I know nothing about the endings at all.
Well, I don't know what the endings are. It's just
so I could get the worst ending. I have no idea.
There's an NPC in the game that's like, you can sacrifice this person, or you can do this that will not sacrifice them but will send the world into chaos, or something what he said.
Wow.
And I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to save the girl but burn the world, basically. I don't know what's going to happen, but anyways, I want to figure out how to do that. So I traveled like deep beneath the capital. I went like way down through the sewers, and I found like this big scar on the wall or something that might be a door. I don't know what to do. It's a dead end for me. So I want to figure that out. I I'm playing without Googling anything, right? So
I'm Googling all kinds of stuff. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm getting OP.
I haven't done that.
But I'm actually just also doing a lot of exploring. Like I'm at level 90 or like 92 right now, and I'm just now about to enter the capital.
Okay.
Which is there's still stuff that I missed on the way there, but that's pretty high level for where I am right now. And I'm told that if I just speed run the rest of it, I'm like 3/4 of the way to the end. So I think I'm just gonna kind of blast through.
Ritz is right. A tale of two gamers, two totally different approaches to the game. But you know what? We're both having a blast, and that's all that matters.
Jake and I have such different tastes in games that this is actually really cool for us to be playing the same game at the same time in such different ways.
Yeah, only one of us is playing it correctly, but
only one of us is good. GUD.
Get good. All right, we're starting.
Yeah, start it. The other question was, Jake, I know you love your mini LED monitor, but thoughts on the ROG OLED monitor scheduled to be released this year?
I mean, I'll give you my thoughts as soon as I try it because I'm getting, I'm getting my hands on one. I will fight tooth and nail until I want the smaller one. I'm super pumped to see ROG entering the OLED space. I do think that 42 inches is a little bit larger than I would want to use at my PC gaming setup, just because the way my room is designed and built. It's not.
Yeah, it really depends on your setup.
It does, absolutely. And I look at those as being a better option for couch gaming or console, controller gaming, or sim rig, which is what I would aim to.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
That's what
I've reviewed a monitor that size before, and it is really cool to have it at a desk, and you can do mouse and keyboard gaming with it. And I know there are a lot of people who are really into that, just like kind of thing. You're right that it also is really good for controller gaming. It's especially great if you're in like a dorm room or a studio apartment or something like that. It can be your TV and your monitor. Like it does really good double duty for things like that as well.
I think the average desk depth is around 32 inches. I think for like a standard desk. I use a workbench that's only 24 inches deep. So like that's another thing that like with my specific setup, it's like it would be a little.
But OLEDs are really thin.
I know, but it'd be really close to me still. I don't know.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. I guess I don't know the dimensions. I would be surprised if the OLED was thicker than your mini LED display.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know.
Because OLEDs are real. I mean, if you have an OLED TV, you know how thin it is.
Yeah, it is very thin.
I don't know. I'm a bit more of an LED guy myself, but I also understand that OLEDs are objectively the better technology in a lot of people's minds.
I love my OLED, really, but the mini LED, I think I like it more. Like
I've owned an OLED TV and an LED TV, and I stuck with LED. I know that's like sacrilege to a lot of people.
Well, so the thing is I think the OLED I have is is really good for movies. I have a 65-inch OLED and I like it for my home theater, but I think I like gaming more on the mini LED.
I'll put it this way: I like mini LED better, but I still recommend OLED to most people.
Well, that's what the options are there for.
Yep, that's the beauty of having options.
You play Mario, bro? What was that?
That's awesome, actually.
This is actually. Oh, now it's Pac-Man? I don't even understand anymore. Who's going to win? Zeru LX11. He's going for the cannon. Oh, he missed. Oh, he got it. It counted as a win. I thought he missed. I thought he was dead. Zeru XL or X11. Type in chat to claim your win.
Any tips on how to best set up an ROG Ryujin 2 cooler in a thermal take Tower 900?
That's
I have not.
Very specific question.
That is a very specific question that I cannot answer for you because I have never set up that exact. I've never worked in that thermal take case. I was actually looking at it once upon a time. I was considering it, but no, I used it.
We're going full pirate mode, and we're taking over the ROG Discord. You can type !Discord in chat if you'd like a link to join the community.
Oh shoot, are we inviting people to the Discord now?
Oh, it'll work. It'll give them a link. So we're actively going to be making some changes there and trying to build a better community for just that kind of question, because I guarantee you there's other builders that have done a build with that kind of situation, and we'd love to give you guys a better place to connect and talk and ask those kind of questions, because there's so many questions like that where we can't know every case and every component and have tips on the cuff. But there's so many builds that have been done out there that I guarantee you there's someone out there that you can find that can give you some guidance. So join our Discord community. We're gonna be right now, it's
don't be alarmed by the number of channels.
It's gonna be changing a lot very soon. We're gonna be announcing some stuff that we're gonna plan some giveaway activations through Discord, stream notifications, and much more. We got a lot of cool stuff in the works, but it's
Jake and I just got the keys to the kingdom.
We just
today.
got the keys, yeah.
Exciting things are happening in the Discord. It may be a little bit gradual over the course of a couple weeks here, but bear with us.
Yeah.
It's gonna get awesome in there. I promise.
It's gonna be fun. But okay, I guess final closing thoughts is we will be back on Friday gaming on the M16, playing probably some Elden Ring. I think I gotta finish Elden Ring.
You gotta finish it up, man.
Gotta do it. Gotta try to blast and conclude the glorious game. Hopefully I haven't gotten too rusty over the 3-week break or so. And next Tuesday we are gonna have a special show. We've got a launch event for some new stuff that we're going to be unveiling, and then we're going to do a live show immediately following the launch event stream, just kind of talking like we are now. Just two guys chatting. Maybe
there is
plus
so
Sasha.
Much stuff that I wanted to bring it up today, but I can't.
I know. Soon.
I'm so excited. The stuff that we're showing off is going to be some of the best stuff yet.
Oh, the headset stand? I can't remember the name of it.
That is in fact from ROG. I don't remember
the name of it.
The throne, the ROG throne.
Throne. Yeah.
Which I thought was the name of your chair. So
that's the chariot.
The chariot. That's why I was confused. Yeah, it's the ROG throne. It's actually a wireless charger. That part of the bottom that has first of all, it has RGB, which is awesome, shining off the desk. But that's a wireless charger for your phone. Yeah. So that is very cool.
All right, guys. Well, we'll send you a direct message with your prize for any of the winners next Monday is when we send them the Monday following. So stay tuned for that. We're just logging the wins now. I'll actually make sure I do that right now before I forget. Friends, GG's. It's good to be back with Pulse. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care.